Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to yet another Game Hunt vlog. This week I am down in the Gloucester and Birmingham area on a work trip, and I've used it as an opportunity to hit up some retro game shops and of course some CEXs. Starting this video off here in Gloucester at Games Collectables. This is actually the first time I've been in this shop, despite the fact I'm down this way quite a lot for work. I've just never been able to get there based on timing, parking, or I was actually closed I think the last time I was down in March. But obviously, as you can see through the footage, I've walked in and my first thoughts were like, wow, really impressed in terms of first impressions. Mostly because it was 35 degrees and the aircon was blasting, so it was keeping me cool in the day. But just really simple things, like really well laid out, big wide aisles, lots of space to walk about. I'm not pushing past people and clambering on people to get to the shelves. Lots of PlayStation 2, lots of Xbox 360. As you can see, there's lots of trading cards as well, and then some more retro stuff as well. A very small amount. Some newer, but I guess just the age group I'm at, really hitting that sort of Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2 type era, which was really good to see. So let's dive back in. Let's check out the rest of the stock. I guess at this point I just want to jump back in and say that, like, you can see on the shelves there some of the condition of this sort of older Nintendo stuff is really nice. Something I have noticed in the last few weeks as I've sort of cracked on or moved on for that Nintendo series of videos is, unless it's a specific Nintendo title I'm looking for, I don't really have that massive attraction to Nintendo. So obviously growing up on the Pokemon games, I will keep collecting them. Talked about them at length on the channel. There's a fair few Mario games I want to get as well, but like a lot of these other characters don't have that same resonance with me as do other people, but condition wise it's really good. A lot of loose cartridges, which is tempting because you can definitely pick up cases on Vinted and eBay, but at this point I thought it was time to start moving on, have a good look at the disc-based games sort of more my era growing up. It's always nice when you visit an independent game store for the first time and it lives up to expectations and exceed. That was really clean, really well laid out. Really enjoyed it. It's Games and Collectables in the middle of Gloucester. Lots of Pokemon cards as well, some really high end stuff. I've got a couple of pickups, but I'm going to head to CEX and I'm going to show you the pickups back at the office in a little bit. Right, so as I said in that last clip there and also earlier in the video, really impressed with the store Games and Collectables down in Gloucester. Good conversation with the guy, really quite busy with his shop, but because of the amount of space, it didn't feel like that. As I said, you weren't clambering on top of people, pushing past to get to things. It was just like really well laid out, quite chilled out. And as I say, their com was blasting. Stayed clear of the Pokemon cards. I think the fact that it was cash only really helped. But 2 pickups. The first one is Portal 2 on the Xbox 360. Now, he actually let me have this for free because his disc polisher was out of service because he was waiting for the polishing fluid. And I don't think it looked too bad, but the more I look at it, the worse it probably is. But I let me have that for free, and the reason I've picked this up is because Ross and I were looking for some old 360 games to play, and we think, based on what we've seen online, maybe somebody can let us know in the comments down below for sure, that there is online servers for Portal 2 still available to play co-op. Online multiplayer 2 co-op 2, yep. So I believe they're still active. Obviously 360 being the greatest console of all time. Now, I did feel bad when he said just take it, because it's like, it's only like a few quid, but I went back and then I picked up Prototype for 3 quid, also on the 360. I know nothing about this game. I remember seeing it, I've never played it, but everything's there. Good night. So, like I said, really happy. I actually spent much longer in this shop than what I originally planned to, because I had a long day planned out to try to get back, and my way back up towards the airport in Birmingham just to visit different shops, and ultimately left myself really short on time to skip a few of them. But Portal 2 was on the list for this pick up. My plan was to get it at the CEX in Bromsgrove, but I digress. Couldn't do that. Just ran out of time. I managed to get it here in the first stop. So really successful start to the day. Before we go back to the main game hunt, just going to give you guys a quick update on what's been happening in the rest of the collecting space as well in the last few weeks. So if you remember the Nintendo series of videos, I decided to head back to IKEA and get myself one of these units behind me, which I will overlay just now, me putting it together. I really do rate these units. IKEA Kallax 4x4 in black brown, and these inserts as well, which I think they're quite expensive, like 19-20 quid a shot, and I've got 8 of them in each unit, so 160 quid per unit for them. But I like them because it protects my stuff, my wee boy, and also stops like dust and stuff getting about it. Just clean it once I build it, sort it away, and only clean the outside. And obviously you can't really see there, but down below I've got the consoles on the open boxes, so I'm going to finish that at some point over there, and my plan was to have my games. I've still got games to sort. I was going to do it in this video, but I actually managed to get filmed so much in the game hunt that I'm not just going to chuck in some filler for the sake of it. Now, as well as this, a few weeks ago, or a few weeks before, going down to Gloucester and Birmingham area, Craig, Ross and I visited the Scotland car show at the SECC. Again, I'll overlay some footage just now, just around the venue. I won't go into too much detail because card stuff's never done that well on this channel, and everybody seems to much prefer the game hunt stuff. But as you can see behind me, I do like my collecting my cards. I've got plenty of Pokemon, plenty of WWE cards, a few other sports as well. I'll just show on screen just now as well my pickups for the day. That Dominic Mysterio on card art was something I was chasing because it now takes pride of place right there next to this moving. So I've got my on card and I've got my sticker auto as well. So really happy. Really happy with those pickups in the day. Sold a few things as well, so basically kind of self-funded it on the day. So let's at this point let's head back to Gloucester. Let's head to CEX, let's see what the pickups are like. Also, just going to apologise for the state of my voice. I have delayed doing this voiceover and editing stuff as long as I could, but I need to get the video made and get it scheduled and get thumbnails done, so if I said about raspberry, just I picked up something when I was travelling and I've not been able to shake it. Now, back to CEX. So let me just do the same thing I did when I actually hit up Games and Collectables in the town first, and just go kind of first impressions. First impressions were, this looks really good. Really big store, front to back, long, lots of space, lots of tech. You know, quite impressed with the wee Xbox 360 display. You know, I've talked about how good the console that actually is, and it'll be a core memory of my sort of teenage years playing that. Whether you're looking at Nintendo Switch section, I picked up that Five Nights at Freddy. Didn't pick it up, but certainly intrigued by it. It's a game I don't think I've ever seen before. But the question is, will the rest of the store live up to that first impression? Let's go back to CEX. just had to get there. The further away from the aircon unit you got, the warmer it got. That was horrendous, but actually quite a nice shop. Despite the fact I'm in Gloucester all for work, it's the first time I've actually been in that shop. It was definitely worthwhile. I probably would have had a few pickups if I could deal with this heat compared to the last shop, which had the aircon blasting. But one of the awkward days where if I leave at the normal time for the airport, I'm going to get stuck in traffic and be late for my flight, and if I go early enough to make it, the journey's half the time. But let's head back into the office and let's do pickups, the first couple of stops. So obviously, ignoring the last thing I said that I would do 2 shops worth of pickups, that's when I was still in my head planning how the video was going to go. As I've just said, as I've explained before, my timings were just slightly off by how long it took me to get into Gloucester and get parked and then get back out, but the heat was starting to kill me. And as I've just said at this point, but in that store, if you get further and further away from the aircon unit, it was just horrendous. Sadly, no pickups. And I don't really know why. I think it was just like, I don't really know what I was looking for. I was just out and about to see what happens. Obviously, Ross and I have just done 2 videos back to back on having a plan and just going on vibes. This is one of the ones where I went in vibes and it wasn't really happening, despite the success in the first shop. Now, I do have another huge, there's 7 or 8 games here that were part of this game hunt. But you're going to have to wait until next week for that, and I have baited where I end up right at the start of this video. So I do end up in Vintage Gamer, which is arguably the best of the best in terms of retro game shops. I also come back up the road and went to Forgotten Worlds for the second half of that video. So there's always a little bit of a comparison between the best down south and the best up here. With that being said, if you've made it this far in the video, please drop a comment down below. Let us know, where do you think is the best retro game shop in the country. I was a huge fan of Games and Collectables there in Gloucester. Very fortunate to have Forgotten Worlds on my doorstep, even though sometimes I go too often and end up criticising it because like nothing really changes. And also Vintage Gamer is just unreal. So let us know down there, and as I say, end the video. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like, please subscribe to the channel, please join us on more game hunts. Let us know as well if you're enjoying the game hunts or if you're enjoying some of the other content. Ross has been doing some quick reactions to all the ongoing news on GTA 6 and also the huge bombshell today that Sony will discontinue physical discs from 2028, which may or may not give us an indication as well as to when the PS6 is coming. I think it's an absolute disaster, to be honest, but I'm sure we'll digest that over the coming weeks. So take it easy, guys, and I will see you back here next week for Vintage Gamer and Forgotten Worlds.